Runaway Reptar Part 2 is the 20th episode of the 6th season of Rugrats, and this is probably going to be one of my shortest Rugrats discussions because I just thought it was terrible. I thought Part 1 was unbelievable, unrealistic, not very good at all, and Part 2 is basically the same. I feel like as a narrative it was okay, by which I mean things happened that I wasn't expecting, the development of the narrative was pretty good, and I hadn't worked out why Reptar was being so evil, so it took me by surprise. However, as I mentioned in the first part, I'm trying to not repeat everything I said in the first part, but unfortunately my opinion hasn't changed. I cannot visualize what the babies were doing for this imaginative play. So this episode is basically saying, actually, the babies did go into the film and this really did happen, and it's not just their imagination. And that kind of ruins everything, because one of the beautiful thing about Rugrats, even though I don't always love it when we're in their imagination, is it's really fun to see how the real world around them transforms for their imaginative play. But this one, there's no sense of that. It is literally just, yeah, they went into the film, this actually happened, and it's just unbelievable and boring and not very interesting. And unfortunately, they did reveal why Reptar was behaving the way he was really early on in this second part. So the thing that I was curious about was resolved or revealed really quickly, and the rest of it was really tedious. I was glad that Angelica, Susie, and her brothers had a role to play. I feel like they brought a little bit more interest into it, but not enough for it to be enjoyable. But there was one bit of animation that I really liked, and I'll discuss that in a moment with a spoiler warning because it happens quite near the end. But honestly, I found both parts to be boring. Runaway Reptar Part 1 started off okay because the babies were at a drive-in, it was quite cute. But from the point when they went into the film and they didn't make any effort to try and make it seem like the babies were just using their imagination, I just lost all interest. And unfortunately, Part 2 was just as bad, and I didn't care for it at all. So a tiny spoiler, well, I suppose it's quite a big spoiler, but the one bit of animation that I was pleased to see and that I thought worked well. So this is a spoiler from now. Towards the end of this second part, we do actually see Reptar and fake Reptar fighting. And I thought that looked pretty cool. I thought that was pretty decent. And I like the fact that the two Reptars had a slightly different shade of green, so it was easy to distinguish which Reptar was the real one and which one was the mechanical one. This is me trying to find something positive to say about otherwise a terrible two-parter. As I said, the narrative itself was okay. As in, it developed well, the pacing was pretty good. I do think they should have kept back the reveal about why Reptar was the way he was for a little bit longer. But things happened that I hadn't expected, and that was okay. But I feel like it was a huge cop out, not making an effort to make it seem like it was more of their imagination, and actually just implying they went into the film. It just didn't work. And also, the whole Angelica's involvement wouldn't have made sense because she didn't create the film, she didn't write the film, she didn't direct the film, so how was that even possible? Yeah, it's terrible. It's definitely not good at all, and I will never watch it again.